Oh no, bro.
First review video on this game, Guts and Blackpowder, and I kind of wanted to start on a pretty recently added in feature in this game, or weapon as you could say, and that is the air rifle. So first things first is let's go over the air rifle. This weapon was released only a few months ago, and quite honestly, it has caused a little bit of controversies in this game. One of the most notable parts, which is probably the biggest one, is the insane amount of price for this weapon.
Holy shit.
10,000 franc coins, which I'm just gonna refer to as coins. This is quite an insane amount of price. It's not that easy to just grind. I mean, it is kind of easy to grind a bunch of coins, quite honestly, since all you have to do is just survive each map, do a bunch of stuff like saving your teammates and healing your teammates, and you'll be able to grind a decent amount of points. But quite honestly, it does take a very long time to just get 1,000 coins. So the fact that you need 10,000 is kind of an insane price. And of course, the description for it is quite accurate, saying that it is the most expensive weapon in the game. Not only is it the most expensive weapon in the game, it quite honestly is probably the weakest firearm in the game, dealing at around 60-ish damage, which compared to like the best, or at least one of the best primary weapons for the rookie, is the double-barreled weapon, which does around 80 damage. It does less than that weapon. On hindsight, that might seem like a big deal, but quite honestly, it kind of isn't. I've tested it out many games, so I think I have a general understanding of like this weapon compared to all of the other guns. Alright, let's go ahead and go over the pros and cons. First off is the pros. This thing, well, as its description is, has a pretty surprisingly fast rate of fire. When you think of rate of fire, you're probably thinking it's like an assault rifle or something like that. Its quote-unquote rate of fire is just clicking through mags, and it will slowly do that, but it does actually have a decent rate of fire, so you can actually hit one zombie after another in quick succession-ish, if that makes sense. Since this weapon literally shoots out pebbles like an airsoft weapon or a BB gun, this thing isn't really designed to really do that much damage. However, it still one-shots bombers, which I'm pretty sure is something that everyone wants to think about, or at least consider. Does it one-shot bombers? And yes, it does. This weapon still managed to one-shot shamblers, the runners, and the bombers, which I'm pretty sure is what everyone is thinking of. Now, quite honestly, even though its damage is a little bit lower, it generally does the exact same stats of damage compared to the double-barreled primary weapon, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people are using. Now on to the big one, which I know a lot of you guys are asking of, and that is the reloading mechanic thing. You see, this is currently the only weapon in the game where you actually have to purchase ammo for it. And I tested it out how many shots it has per canister. It has 30 shots per canister. However, 20 shots before you pretty much are completely empty in your mag. So you can only shoot 20 times before you actually have to reload because you're completely all out of pebbles. You do not actually need to purchase more air canisters, because as long as you have this same air canister and the game ends or you win or whatever, as long as you don't actually reload your air canister that you get for free will always essentially be fully reloaded. And that's it about the pros-ish. Now let's go over to the cons. Let's go over to the biggest one, which is the air canister, the fact that you literally have to pay for basically to reload this weapon. So essentially this is kind of a, if you're playing endless or like Berezina where you have to use a bunch of your ammunition, you may want to actually use a different weapon because you're just gonna bleed through money, especially when these air canisters are $100 per, well, air canister. The next con is, well, the most obvious one, and that is the insane price tag for $10,000. Despite its insane amount of price, I think it's actually kind of worth it. And well, I mean, because of the insane amount of price, it might lead you to the other direction, and something you're probably asking is if you should buy it right away. And I would say no, just go with the different weapon, but once you get more comfortable like using the soldier, using a weapon every now and again, or just in times when bombers appear, then yeah, go for this weapon. But immediately, do not purchase this weapon. And that's quite honestly all of the cons I think people are talking about. Its damage, reload, and of course its price tag. Now to the final question, is this weapon actually worth the $10,000 range? Quite honestly, I think I'm gonna have to say it kind of is. It's very good at just taking down many bombers at the same exact time, which I'm pretty sure every single one of you guys are actually gonna do. I've had many times where if I didn't have this weapon, we would have probably gotten fucked, or at least a few bombers would have slipped past, but with this weapon, I was able to take down so many of them. So quite honestly, from a 1 to 10, 0 being completely terrible, do not get, and 10 being a must, buying it as soon as possible, I think I'm going to be rating this, quite honestly, generously, a 7 out of 10. I think a 7 out of 10 is the most I'm going to be ranking it, since it does has its fair share of issues of, like, for an example, the price tag, limited amount of munitions, and the very frugality game style you have to actually play when using this weapon. So quite honestly, if you have a ton of money and you really don't know what else to get, then I would recommend getting this gun. However, for newbie players or people who have just started playing the game and have around a few tens of hours into this game, I'd say do not get this weapon just yet. Anyway, that is my opinion, and enjoy the next 24 hours of your day.